Yo, what's going on, guys? Going to be going over today's trade recap, what I ended up taking today, and how I felt about price overall. Okay, cool. So coming into today, overall was leaning definitely more bullish than I was bearish. Reason being is because we were low-key inside of a higher time frame buy model, I guess, up to these Asia highs that we left on Monday. Overall market structure just delivering from a weekly key level, which we had that retrace to yesterday. So I'm expecting all-time high price action yet again, coming within the next few days potentially. What else? I mean, yeah, just look at the market. We're delivering from sell side, respecting bullish, disrespecting bearish. We have a draw ahead of us, being Asia session highs to complete this market maker buy model, on the 15-minute time frame anyway. Pretty simple bullish kind of bias coming into today. And then overall on the low volume, on the low profile, low volume node, backing up, we had this hourly gap right here, and then we also had a low volume node within this hourly gap here. So this was definitely a huge rebalance I was potentially looking for price to go to. And except from that, that's really simple. That's it. Let's just see what market open does and kind of go from there. Cool. So market ends up opening higher here, and we rip into this 30-minute fair value gap above us, and 15-minute fair value gap above us. There we go. Rip into this 15-minute fair value gap, and from here we go. Yeah. Okay. So we rip into this 15-minute fair value gap, and then from here we instantly displace lower. Both pairs manipulated here, and we manipulate into this hourly gap here. Now with this. We ended up delivering higher here. And then this is when we ended up taking out the final draw liquidity that I had in mind. Now, this was a really clean move in itself. What did we have here? We had 930 generating more liquidity higher here. We had that stop hunt, technically that stop hunt, like a 30-second stop hunt inside of this hourly gap with that low volume node backing us to go for prices higher. And we also had a clear draw on liquidity as a target here with true manipulation. Now, the reason why I just didn't take this, I mean, I love this. I'm not going to lie, I really, really like this, but I just couldn't justify an entry for myself. Overall, this huge displacing candle kind of chalked my entry. This 2-minute inverse, I know it shows that it kind of looked like it happened on MNQ, but it did not happen on NQ. I would have been 100% willing to take any kind of 2-minute inverse that we got if it was just right here, targeting my draw on liquidity for today, and I would have been done with that, but sadly enough, we actually did not really get an entry there. And you could have discretionarily just taken this 1-minute displacement candle, which I would have 100% agree with. I just wasn't fully convinced. Even though this was a super, super high probability setup, in my opinion, I think this 1-minute candle as an entry was completely fine, but I just wanted to try and stick to my rules for this one and just wait for the 2-minute close to see if this was actually going to be a true move higher. And then the 2-minute close was pretty awful, but I still was convicted, but just ended up not pulling the trigger on anything there. Didn't really see an entry to where I could validate proper risk with my stop loss without price being a threat to it, so I kind of just sat out on it. And then with this coming in, we ended up sweeping out my final draw liquidity for the day, and then this was also inside of an hourly gap. Now from here, I could have seen prices lower, or I could have seen prices higher, and that's why we use ranges, and we listen to ranges and what they are telling us to determine that. So what we end up doing here is we end up forming, I believe it was a 4-minute fair value gap. Maybe not yet. No, it was definitely here by then. Maybe it was a 3-minute? 5-minute. Yeah, I'm a dumbass. It was a 5-minute. Great. So it was a 5-minute fair value gap that we formed after sweeping out this pool of liquidity inside of an hourly gap. So this is a sponsored 5-minute fair value gap. And then when I want to mark out the range that I'm dealing with here as well, we can see that price comes up to CE of the range. Well, actually, it didn't. It edged CE of the range, but again, this was within inside of a gap. So what I was looking at here was pretty simple. I was like, if we respect this 5-minute gap, which is in like kind of basically in a premium, like it's basically in a premium, of this range that we're, hold on, like does the magnet even mark this out properly? I don't know. Anyway, inside of this range, we wick this 5-minute fair value gap beautifully, and then from here, like what I'm just kind of thinking is, if we start displacing lower here, that is completely backing the narrative of the final draw liquidity being taken out for the day with rejection off the hourly gap, and then we have a sponsored 5-minute within this range. that we're heading towards. Like if I see us come up to this 5 minute fair value gap, respect this, displace lower, I can be expecting range low. We also leave a failure swing to range low being right here. And prior to this retrace, so more targets, more reasoning to move lower, and overall I was just pretty convicted in this, especially where ES was at the time too. S&P 500 was looking like it really wanted to hunt some lows. So overall, I ended up getting my entry right here. Stop loss was just right here, like around on the wick or just right above it or right below it, and I was targeting a 1-to-1 with this, which was just slightly past TP for this draw. And yeah, overall, just the narrative was screaming range low for me here. This is definitely more of a discretionary play. I did take a 1 minute CISD, not an inversion. But overall, I do really like this. There was like a better trade that did end up presenting itself right after. But again, like I just had a lot of conviction in this, and I definitely believed it was worth a shot, especially how we were moving in the range and how we swept out that bit of liquidity. Where do I expect price to go next to collect more liquidity, even if it wants to move higher? It's probably resweeping this low and taking out these pools of liquidity here to get an actual new push move higher or wherever it may want it to do. So I ended up entering shorts right here. Break even was simply just when ES ended up taking the low, and ES ends up taking the low, I believe, right on this 1 minute candle right here. And then I ended up moving my stop loss to break even here, and then right after this on the next candle, it did just hit our TP. And then from here, we actually ended up getting a Drake candle to the upside. I'm not sure what that was at 10:14. But this is when we low-key get trade of the day. I did like the trade that I took, but I'm not going to be stupid. And this trade was definitely better. So what did we have coming in here? We ended up generating liquidity higher, and then we left a failure swing to this new high that which we made. And then 10:30, I think it was prior 10:30, so 10:20 ends up opening lower here, and we end up manipulating into this brand new 5 minute fair value gap, which we made, delivering from the hourly gap with the low volume profile, with the higher time frame bullish bias. Yeah, this was definitely trade of the day in my opinion if you did end up taking this. On this next candle, I believe it is right here, is when we do inverse both of those 1 minutes. Even an entry, honestly, on this first one isn't that bad, but I definitely would have been wanting to see the full confirmation here to take this. Stop loss around here, targeting a 1-to-1 with this. Break even would have been at the internal high. And then, of course, we're going to break even right here on this next candle. But unfortunately, this does end up stopping you out at break even if you were heading for that 1-to-1, and then eventually chopping around and delivering to your take profit in the end. And then from here, honestly, I don't think there's any more trades I can go over. I guess there was this here as well. If you ended up taking this displacing candle to the upside here, or even this one, this is also a good trade. I think price action today was definitely pretty clean. There was some valid opportunity for shorts, and there was better opportunities for longs after those shorts played out. But yeah, overall, can't really complain at all about today's price action. I thought it was pretty good. Let me know if you guys ended up taking anything today, or if you have any questions about this video and what I was explaining. Hold on, let me actually write this. This is A plus. Okay, yeah. This 5 minute count is this 5 minute continuation is A plus. I think this is trade of the day. 100% trade of the day. I would rate this long, that if you took the long here, probably a close second. And then the one I took was third, I would say. I think I took the worst trade out of these two, but I still really liked it and had conviction in it. So that's why I took it. If I didn't take this one, I probably would have ended up taking this 5 minute continuation and gotten break even. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's recap, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you want to talk to me personally, my Discord, Instagram, and TikTok will be in the bio of this video, so go check them out and give me a message. And if you want to talk about anything trading related. And except for that, I will catch you guys in the next recap, which will be tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. And I wish you luck on the charts tomorrow. Peace out.